Morning, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it, your presence this morning, your punctuality as well. Welcome to this morning's press conference, the squad announcement for the CONCACAF Nations League for the October window. Before we get into the formalities of everything, just want to introduce the persons we have with us at the head table. To my far left, we have the president of the Jamaica Football Federation, Mr. Michael Ricketts, and to my immediate left, we have the head coach of the Jamaica Senior Men's National Team, Mr. Steve McClaren. So again, thank you very much, everybody, for being here. Just go through a few housekeeping matters for members of the media. We kindly ask as well that you put your cell phones on silent or vibrate so as not to disturb anything in the program, the audio or video elements. That would be greatly appreciated. And also, apart from that as well, what we kindly ask as well is that persons are coming in at the back as well. You can remind those individuals as well that will be coming into here as well. So just a reminder for the CONCACAF Nations League this window, the matches are October 10 and October 14. Firstly, away against Nicaragua on October the 10th, and then at home against Honduras on October the 14th. And as you know, the CONCACAF Nations League serves as a qualifier for the Gold Cup next summer as well. So the magnitude of this competition, it really shows how massive it is. So to kick things off, we're going to start with some opening remarks, and we're going to start with the head coach of the senior men's national team, Coach McClaren. Coach.
Thank you, and welcome. Just a few opening remarks about the squad, which you no doubt have by now. There are a few fallouts, which I'll go through. We have Shamar Nicholson, who, after the last camp, we've had many discussions, and he never felt happy about his condition or his form, and he expressed that he felt he was way behind in terms of not having a pre-season, playing in the Copa, missed it with his club, Moscow. And he wants to build his fitness up. So what he said was that he didn't feel right, in the right form, the right level of fitness to be ready to join us on this camp. So we had many discussions about this. And what he's doing is he's building his fitness up. He's hired a performance coach to work with him on the fitness side. His club, his manager, is helping him also to improve his fitness, giving him game time. He's played in, I think, 2 cup games so far. And he wants to be 100% Shamar Nicholson. And he doesn't feel he was at that the last camp. So I understand where he's coming from. And we hope that he gets in good condition, plays minutes for his club, starts scoring goals, and getting back to the Shamar which we know. And so we've expressed that we'll keep in touch, review his games, his programme, and we look to the next camp. So that's Shamar. Leon Bailey. Unfortunately, Leon got a hamstring injury for the last call-up. Came back from that, I think by his own admission, came back a little too early and re-injured his adductor the other day against Bayern Munich. I think everybody saw the game. He came in after 30 minutes and went out after 60 minutes. He has a problem. I don't quite know exactly what that is. The club are investigating that. Don't know whether he's fit or he's not, but he certainly has a problem. And too much of a problem to risk flying him here and risk him in the games. So he's really, really disappointed because after the last camp he missed, he didn't want to miss this one. He wants to play for Jamaica. He made that clear to me. And so he's very disappointed in that. Jamal Lowe is another one who, since the last camp, and I liked him in the last camp, he's not played minutes for his club. Again, I had quite a long conversation the last couple of days with his coach, who expressed that Jamal would be better working the next 2 weeks with his club, and like Jamal, working on his fitness and his form and his rhythm, which he lost after coming back from the last camp. So we've agreed to not bring him on this camp. It's the club's decision, and I uphold that. I have to have a good relationship with the clubs, for the future. With the Shamar, I wanted him, but it's his decision that he wanted to get back to the Shamar that we know. And another one who's not included this time was last is Hector, who didn't have a club last time, but I brought him for the experience. He was tremendous in the camp, tremendous professional. And I said to him, need to start playing, need to get a club. I spoke with him the last couple of days. He's close to agreeing something. And I said, let's keep in touch. And if you get a club, you start playing football, then it's a chance to look at it again. John Russell, another one who I liked in camp. We brought him in last time. Since going back, he's not played any minutes for his club, and we need people to do that. He's a 6 or 8, and we have 8s enough in K-Roy, Bobby, and Casey Palmer. So I said, look, we'll keep you on standby if we get any problems over the weekend. But he's another one who, at this stage of the season, it's important to build your fitness, to get rhythm, to play minutes. And if you don't, then you lose a lot. And so that's the reason, basically, with Shamar, Jamal, Hector, John Russell. But Adrian Reid is another who I watched him play last night. Very impressive again. We brought him in the last camp for experience. I wanted to look at a young player. We had a look at Adrian. I liked him a lot. Tremendous boy, great around the camp, good personality. And he's playing well for Cavaliers. But I said, this time we just have 1 or 2 more experienced players that we need for the next 2 games. So he understood that. We keep in touch. So they're the ones who are out. The ones who come in, we had a problem at right back, I think, last camp. In the 2 games, Dexter unfortunately got injured in the first game. Couldn't play in the second. And because Lati Vidier had played so well in midfield, I didn't want to move him into the right back position. Greg Lee filled in, did a very good job. I've kept in touch with Dexter. He's fit, he's training. Maybe not had the minutes that he needs, but he's fit to come on camp. But I wanted a right back, and on the recommendation of Meron, then we had a look at Tavon Gray, New York FC. And I like this boy. Strong, good defender, gets forward. Saw him score a goal in a local derby when they beat New York Red Bulls. And he's been in the squad before and done very well. No hesitation in bringing him. So I look forward to working with him. John Bell. That leaves a space at left back because Amari Bell is injured. So that will push Greg Lee to the left back position. I needed cover there. And John is experienced. He's been in the squad before. Was in the Copa team and squad. And so I've liked him. I followed him at Seattle. So he comes in. An interesting one, even before I came in, we've chased this player to play for Jamaica, Mason Holgate. And I think through the intervention of the president, especially, trying to push through players double heritage wanting passports. I think we finally very, very, very close to getting a passport for Mason Holgate. I think he just needs clearance from FIFA. So I'm including him in the squad. He might not qualify for the first game, but we think by the second game he will definitely be available. So I decide to bring him in, integrate him quickly, and hope the documentation comes through so we can have him in both games. We'll move into midfield. I've always looked for a number 10, a creative player, a little bit out of the box, a little bit somebody who can win games, change games. And I asked Meron, and he recommended Tyreek McGee from Colorado Switchbacks. So I had a little look at him, and I liked him. This boy has ability, skill, can change a game. And I said, yeah, we'll give him a chance. We'll give him an opportunity. And I think that's what I aim to do. I'm learning so much about everything in Jamaica, and the squad is important. So I'm learning a lot about different players. And Tyreek is somebody who I can't wait to work with and to see in training, and hopefully get some minutes, and hopefully impact in the game. So he comes in that midfield area, and because of Jamal going out and Shamar, again, working closely with Meron, who knows all the players, every player going in whatever country. He's an excellent recruiter. Talked about the number 9, and he talked about Romario Williams, or Pavi as he likes to be called, playing for Indy 11. And I haven't seen much of this boy. I look forward to seeing him in training. But from what I've heard, he's been in the squad before. He's got experience. The players know him. Good addition to the squad. And he will play minutes, because in that area we are pretty short. So that roughly talks about the squad. What did I learn from the last camp? The team have great spirit. They great togetherness. I could see that from the first moment they all came together in the dining room. Smiles, hugs, so much energy in the room. I said, if we can keep this energy, we'll be okay. That was heightened to an extent by a local quiz that we had, and we had the olds against the young, and we also had a staff team, and the staff team won. And the staff team won mainly because of the president, who got the question right of when was the president first elected into office. All the players, they got it wrong, 2017, and the staff had a man who knew the answer. And so, yeah, that was part of the team spirit and the bonding that we want to see within the squad. And I think that transferred onto the field. I think you saw it, especially in the second game. It was a tough game. Stayed in the game. Subs made an impact, and the spirit really got us through that game. So the spirit was excellent. What I liked was we were trying to build an identity, a way of playing. That means that players have to be very brave, take the ball, even in tight areas. So I was really pleased with the way that they took to the build-up, which we asked them to do. From the goalkeeper, the back four, through progression to the midfield. We had to be brave, and we were. And I was happy controlling the game, basically through possession. So the build-up I was pleased with, but can get better. I was pleased with the pressing and the counter-pressing, especially in the first game, when we aimed against Cuba to play in their half and stay in their half. And because of the pressing and then the counter-pressing as soon as we lost the ball, winning it back, I thought was very good. So I was happy with that. The biggest thing I was pleased about was the fans. Oh, wow. That's my first experience of a home game, and I can't wait for the Honduras game in 10 days' time, because the fans were tremendous. I hope they continue to support the team like they did, to play the music, to beat the drums, and to give the team energy when it needs energy. So I was really pleased with that. What we need to improve on from the last camp, I think progressing in the build-up was good, but progression into the middle third and the final third, I think that needs to improve. I think in the final third, we did create 27 chances against Cuba. Very, very good opportunities. And if we'd have won that game 1-0, 2-0, we'd have been satisfied with the 3 points and also the chances created and the play that was. But I still think in the final third, we can be better. And a big aspect of the game, which is going to be important in the next two, is set plays. We only had 3-4 training sessions, and that is what pleased me the most, is that the players took on board quite a few of the messages. But we need to get better. We can be better, and for the next 2 games, we need to be better. So what do we need to see? We want to progress. These 2 games are very, very important. You know, we're Jamaica. We're the number 1 team in the Caribbean. Everybody is trying to shoot us down. And that will be Nicaragua. That will be Honduras again. They will be seething from losing that home game. So we know these are going to be 2 difficult games. Against Nicaragua, what are the challenges? Playing on artificial surface, that is a big challenge for us. They're used to it, we're not. That's a mindset, so we need the right mindset to play on artificial surfaces. they are a good team. They are a possession team, and that might at times be frustrating. So emotional control in the first game is going to be very, very important for us. What I want to see against Honduras, actually, I think we need to press better. I think we need to keep the ball better, and that's in general. I want to control the game in and out of possession, and that means pressing better, and that means also dealing with the ball better. I think we need to do that. But the things that we need to keep, the spirit, the hard to beat, the way we defended the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes in Honduras was, yeah, they put some balls into the box and we had to really defend for our lives, and they did that. And also, we talked about it being a squad game, that the first 11, they're the starters. The most important people are the finishers. And I was pleased with the way that like K-Roy came in, Kahim came in, Jamal came in, Deshaun at half-time, Bernard came in. What a difficult job he had to do. And the subs came on and made a difference, made an impact and got us through. So we're very, very pleased with that. And before I probably take any questions, I'd like to congratulate the Cavaliers on reaching the semi-final of the Caribbean Cup. I was at the game last night. Another good performance, and well done to them. Hope they progress.
All right, thank you very much, Coach. Before we get into questions from members of the media, just for persons that are in the benefit here physically, just to go through that list together, and of course you would see it on your screen as well for those that are virtual as well. The goalkeepers Andre Blake, Shaquan Davis and Jamali Waite. The defenders Dexter Lambakisa, Dishon Bernard, Greg Lee, Damien Lowe, John Bell, Richard King, Tavon Gray, Ethan Pinnock and Mason Holgate. In midfield, Casey Palmer, Karoy Anderson, Bobby Reed, Joel Latibodere and Tyree McGee. And the attackers, Ronaldo Cephas, Norman Campbell, Mikel Antonio, Demarai Gray, Kahim Dixon and Romario Williams. So now we can open the floor for questions from members of the media. Please raise your hand, indicate, and wait until the microphone reaches to you so that you can ask your question. Thank you very much. Questions from members of the media, please raise your hand. We would appreciate that. All right, go ahead, Mario.
Coach, MG Sports TV here. Question, based off the profile of players you have selected and based off what happened in the last camp, are you confident that the profile of players that you brought in for this camp would be suited for what you want to do based off what you did in the last camp?
Yeah, I think so. Otherwise, I wouldn't have picked them. I think one person I left out was Cephas. I spoke with him before the last camp, and he was having problems with his club in Turkey, and he solved them problems. He's back playing. He's fit. He's in rhythm, scoring goals, and I know what he can do for Jamaica. I've seen him in every squad in Copa and Nations League, and he's a big asset for Jamaica. So that profile, I have no question, is right. The others, this is the job. I'm learning on the job. I'm learning a lot on the field and off the field. And to get results and win football matches, we have to get the best players. And to get the best players, we have to look at other players, look at every player that we possibly can. And that's natural through injury, but also through form. So we're always, and we say to every Jamaican player out there, there's always an opportunity and always a chance, because we're searching for good players and we're searching for a good team and we're searching for a team that can qualify, and the vision and everything is towards the World Cup 2026. That's what we want to qualify for. So everything that we do, every person that we bring in as an opportunity, and we say that's the opportunity to be part of the squad that qualifies for 2026. That's our vision, and that will always be. So, yeah, we look at the profiles in training, minutes in games, starters. I brought Jamal Lowe in very late in the last window, and he started the first game. So everybody's got an opportunity to, it's a clean sheet of paper for all the players. And I think I saw that from the intensity of training and the games, the last camp. And that's what I see again this camp.
All right, go ahead, Dwight. Dwight Fraser, IRFM.
Yes, thanks so much. Good morning again, Coach.
Good morning.
My question is, earlier on you had mentioned about searching for players and looking at player profile. Have you gotten a chance to see our Premier League? And if so, are there any players in mind that you perhaps might be considering for national duties?
It's very interesting coming in as a coach. You're always focusing on the short term, and the short term is the now. The short term is the next 2 games. We've had 2 already, and it's about winning football matches. So that's the short term. But believe you me, in the long term, we're searching. We're searching the whole world really, because we want the best players that are Jamaican, that can play for Jamaica, to play for Jamaica. So we're always searching. Recruitment is one of the broadening the squad. So we want to broaden the squad by scouting the world. But you know what? The key thing is developing players on this island and developing young players. And that's also in mind in terms of medium to long term is how do we develop? Because our vision is 2026. But the JFF's vision should be not just that, but 2030, 2034. And that means that players get you qualified for tournaments. So we need to improve the players. We can do that in the short term by recruiting around the world, but medium to long term, that's about developing your own players. And as I said in the previous press conference before the last camp, there's tremendous progress over the last 3 years in terms of coach development. And you can see that with the player development. And we want these players more experience in Europe, in the US, wherever around the world, to be playing at a high level of football. That will improve them. So in terms of our vision, yes, we are short term, but believe you me, in the medium to long, it's about development of players.
Yes, a question right here. You can go ahead.
Yes, Coach. Daniel Bent from Sportsmax. One notable absentee is Norman Campbell. Can you give us a reason for his absence, and also what's the latest on the integration of Mason Greenwood into the squad?
Norman Campbell is in the squad. We read out his name a few minutes ago.
Okay.
I think I answer it on Mason Greenwood. It's the same as everybody else. There's a process going on behind the scenes. And as I said, we're planning for 2026. And, once we identify players, bringing them in, is a process. And it can be a long process. We're very fortunate that we spoke in length with the president in terms of recruitment and bringing players in and having an influence over the government or the prime minister in maybe speeding some processes up so we can get players in quicker. And that will benefit the team, and that will benefit the JFF, and that will benefit this island and all Jamaicans around the world. So that's the vision. That's what we want.
Any follow-up, Daniel? No? All right, Mr. Blake, you may proceed.
Morning, Coach, President,
Morning.
and press officers. The question might be directed to a follow-up on Daniel's question to the President Ricketts. Can you tell us about any protocols that have been established between the JFF, Ministry of Sport, Foreign Affairs, and PICA, specifically to address the support for the recruitment? And then I have a question for the President. But a number of players who have attempted to gain their citizenship, there are some simple errors like a 1 letter misspelled in a grandfather's name that has held up processes for months. And I'm just asking if there's shed some light on any protocol or working relationship.
Well, we do have a working relationship with PICA, but like you did mention, the process can be very tedious. And again, you did say that for some very simple reasons. And sometimes these reasons we are not aware until weeks, maybe months after. But we have at our disposal both ministers of Sport and Gender Affairs, Minister Grange and Minister Kamina Johnson. So when we have any major glitch or any major issues, we can always turn to both ministries. At sports, the permanent secretary, Mr. Denzel Thorpe, has always been there for us. But like you said, and it is so very important, it might seem trivial, but sometimes some really very simple, basic mistakes would have cost us months. Because, for example, we would have gotten a passport and a birth certificate from a grandparent of a prospective player. And when we were almost through with the process, the complaint came in that one word was not legible enough. So we had to redo the birth certificate. We had to go find the grandparent, had to go through the entire process. So like you have said, we do not have a formal protocol, so to speak, but we do have a relationship.
Just a follow up, and then I'll ask the question straight to the coach. Because we're about solutions, could the JFF look about recommending a policy in 2024 where DNA is used instead of these old, faded, illegible documents to determine relationships between persons, as is done when you're applying for United States citizenship? That's just a.
I don't think that would be the purview of the JFF.
No, a recommendation.
Well, we could make a recommendation for sure. But yeah, this would have to be from a government perspective and specifically from PICA. But there's some credence to the suggestion, and maybe in a formal way or an informal way, we could make the suggestion and then see what the response is. But it makes sense. It does make sense.
And the final question to the coach. I'm sorry for not introducing myself. Ohini Blake, Dre Anywhere TV, also known as Cataract. Coach, one of our fan favorites, Ravel Morrison, has recently signed to a club in the third tier of the UAE League. I just wanted to ask, one, what's your opinion of that signing? And two, is there a policy regarding the level at which a player would have to be playing to be considered for the senior national men's team? And the part B, there's a notable absence of an under-23 squad. And is that affecting the transition and recruitment of some younger players into the system of Jamaica football?
Interesting questions and very good questions. No, any level. If players are good enough and they're progressing and we think they can play at a certain level, our level, then we will look at them. But believe you me, we have people out there in every country with their eyes on Jamaican heritage players. So that process will always continue. About the 23s, it's a possibility. I think it's early, and I think it's something that we're learning also about, the last, what have we been in the job, 2 months? Second camp, we're focusing on the games, on trying to win these games to qualify for the quarterfinals of Nations League, to improve our ranking so that we get a decent draw if we get through the next stages of the World Cup and World Cup qualifiers, and also the Gold Cup is important as well. So, as I say, in the short term, there's lots of planning and lots of scouting of players at all levels. Because honestly, you go in the UK, it's not just the Premier League, not just the Championship, League One, League Two, even non-league players are now developing to the capabilities of playing national team football. So we're looking for the best players possible, every nook and cranny that we can.
Any other questions? Yes, you can go ahead.
Morning. Kobe Byrne from Kaboom Magazine. All right, so versus the home game against Cuba at the National Stadium, I myself, and I'm sure others have realized that while playing the game, the ball moving against the surface of the field wasn't as smooth. So I'm asking if is there a plan to fix that, especially due to events of the past, being held on the field as well. So should there be restrictions, because this is our national stadium played, and the field is played by Reggae Boys. So I'm just wondering, the condition of the field does it look as top tier for the president as well as the head coach?
I don't think I'm an authority to answer that question, and I might pass that over to Mr. President.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think the pitch was not in a good shape, particularly for that Cuba game. But we are having ongoing discussions with the authorities, and hopefully we'll have a better prepared pitch for next home game. But it is of some concern. We really don't have good pitches here. And the truth is that we have engaged the different municipalities. We are looking at properties to develop in collaboration with our parent organizations. But this is a matter of major concern. We really need good pitches. Fortunately, we have a synthetic pitch on which I'm pretty certain the coach will be doing a lot of training as we head to Nicaragua, where the game, I understand, will be actually played on a synthetic surface. But you are indeed correct. We have major concerns, but we're trying to work on them.
All right, Daniel Blake, the Observer.
Hi, morning, Coach. In terms of the striker position, Mikhail over the last few years has been managing his workload because of several injuries, and with no Shamar and searching for a number 9 and getting Romario Williams, how do you kind of manage that situation, knowing that you have to win games, but at the same time try to manage a player like Mikhail and not having, I guess, a quote-unquote like-for-like replacement for him?
Yeah, you just sounded like the coach then. They're the problems. Yeah, Mikhail has always been the main one. And I spoke a lot with Shamar in the last camp. I see the potential for the future in Shamar, working alongside Mikhail, so alternating. And I think watching games previous, that's what they've done. So I think Mikhail, ultimate professional, wants to play as long as possible, loves playing for Jamaica. So we keep him going as long as we can. And Shamar, which is why he decided to work on his fitness and get some minutes in his club to be the Shamar that we know. They're big assets for us, but we do need in that position. And believe you me, wherever you go, whether I've managed a club or international team, getting a proper number 9, a good number 9, is the most difficult. And that's one of the areas that we're really searching for, not just on the island, but everywhere, to search for good players, better players. And again, working in the short term, how do we manage Mikhail? How do we manage Shamar? Are there others who will be given a second opportunity? Late developers, there are always them as well. So 26, 27, 28-year-old players who think maybe their international career has gone. No, it can come back with the late developers. So, and also developing on the island strikers, number 9s themselves. So, yeah, you've just described exactly what I think every day and searching for every day is that holy grail of a number 9 who consistently scores goals. Very difficult to find.
Daniel, you have a follow-up? No? Matthew, you had your hand up. You have a question? Okay.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Matthew McConaughey-Jones. I think that we all saw a specific structure against Cuba in terms of building up with a back 3 and Dexter holding with. But I think the issue that fans have been expressing is there a lack of depth in the number 6 role. And I know that Joel has played there, and we have a lack of midfield depth. So based on the camp and based on the 2 matches that have been played so far, are you content with the depth that we have in that position, or is it something that you're still continuously actively recruiting?
The coaches in my team will tell me I'm never satisfied. I'm never happy. I always want better. That is the standard in which I've always worked. And people, that's what I've learned to be successful. You're never happy to have content. So we talked about the number 9 position and the future of that. The number 6 is very important. The goalkeeper, every position is important. But you're absolutely right, and that was for me one of the bonuses from the last camp and 2 games, is that although Lati is not used to that, he's used to playing in a back 4 or a back 3. He adapted his game and became that number 6 and took responsibility, and I'd admired him for that, because I thought it was number 6. How we want to play a number 6 is very difficult. It's been brave on the ball. It's been tactically aware. It's been defensively acute at interceptions, being in the right place at the right time. That comes from experience. So Lati, I think, did a fantastic job for them 2 games. But we are searching, as we're searching in every position, for can we get better than what we have at the present moment? Because players win football matches and players will get us qualified for the World Cup 26. So we focus a lot on that, not on just recruitment. But when we get them, can we treat them right? Can we develop them right? Can we put them in the right frame of mentality, mind, in which to perform at their top best when they come and play for Jamaica? It's a massive, huge challenge. And that's what I admired about the last camp and the players who travel. I think Damari Gray travelled well over 16 hours to get here. Thousands and thousands of miles in total for the squad. And they came and their spirit was so strong. And whatever was put in front of them, and you talked about facilities, we talked about the pitch, they never complained, they just got on with it and did the best that they could. That has to continue, that kind of attitude. But you're right, we also need to be better and get better, which we hope to do.
Do you have any more questions?
Right, so good afternoon or good morning, Coach. So Roger Blackwood, 876 Stream. So it's a 2-part question. We've seen that Dujan Richards has been included in the squad for quite some time now. Is there anything that you can say on that matter, as well as where do you find the balance between youth and experience in the national squad?
Sorry. Okay. Balance is vitally important. You need leaders, you need warriors, and you need talents. They're the 3 categories when you always look at a squad and a team. And we have a good leadership group, and we have good warriors that just come in, are professional and do the job. And we've got talents that they're different. They can win a football match. You know, that's why, you know, I looked 3 years ago when I was with FIFA. Wow, you know, get hold of Jamaica. You know, what progress can be made. And coming in and seeing it from closer, that's huge. And that's what we're building. And as I said, in short term, yeah, we're looking to recruit around the world. But the key is development in the youth system and the youth players on this island. And that's in progress with the progression of the coaches. So I'm probably repeating myself over and over, but that's the message that I want to get out. The vision, how we're going to do that, and with what are we going to do it. And the Jamaican players have certain strengths, attributes, which are key in terms of playing football. You've seen that, and we've seen that. We need to develop that. And you're right, balance is key. Broaden the squad. So that means looking around and recruitment, but development within the island is also not number 1 priority, but definitely number 1 in the long term.
All right, do we have any more questions? And the first part of your question, that player is currently injured. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much, everybody, for being here. We greatly appreciate it. Have a pleasant rest of the day and also the weekend. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.